Hello, it's Lou Collins. Today I've got another little hack for you for Christmas. If you're thinking about gifting small items that you need to create gift bags for, this is going to be absolutely perfect. It's a really quick and easy gift bag. You can then choose to add a wrap with maybe some hook and loop fastening, a button, I don't know, something, a magnet, or you can even just use ribbons to tie the top together if you wish, or just stuff it with tissue paper if you don't want the recipient to see inside. It's also perfect to use for things like table favours as well. So this is the template that you use, really simple. On this one we don't have the dotted lines for the score lines, but I'm going to show you exactly where to score and cut. Quite simply, the only cut lines are around the outside as I've done here, so really easy to do. Everything else is a score line. Now what I love about this is that there aren't many joins and tabs and things, so actually when it comes to it falling apart, it's not going to, because everything is already intact in one piece. So as always, I've chosen a beautiful pattern paper. This is from the Holly Jolly collection from Simply Made Crafts. It's really good weight, usually sort of 250 to 300, so the collections vary, but usually a really good construction weight cardstock. White on the inside, but if you want to use double-sided, that'll only make your gift bag on the inside really nice and decorative. So I have cut around the outside so you can see where I'm cutting, and also so I can place this right to the edge and I waste as little as possible of the patterned paper. So the first thing I need to do is get my repositionable adhesive and of course glue this down as always. So I've got, I use the Crafter's Companion one, but there's lots of repositionable glues on the market. If you don't have one, don't worry, you can hold your template in place. You could probably tack it with things like tape liners, they come as repositionable as well. A little bit of washi tape, there's lots of other options for you, so don't worry. The other option, of course, is to print your template onto the reverse of a piece of paper if you've got a cardstock or paper that will go through your printer, so it'll then need to be A4. So that's there. All I'm going to do is cut this out, and you can use your trimmer for this if you prefer straighter lines. It's just as quick and easy because it's just two lines for me to just take my large scissors to it. And I do use large scissors rather than small scissors because I get neater cuts on large areas. My smaller scissors are reserved just for fussy cutting. There we go. So as I say, this is now all score lines, no other cutting required to create this. So not my trimmer, I need my scoreboard. There we go, they're piled on top of each other, and I'm also going to need my bone folder. Now I'm just going to place this into my scoreboard there, just get that round the right way. There we go. So just lining the first vertical line up to a groove and run that down nice and strong through both layers. Again, just make sure the next line is in a groove. So what I tend to do is I tend to work across a panel of paper doing all the verticals one way, and then I'll turn it over and I'll do all the verticals this way as well. So place that in there, because the template is not created with a particular scoreboard in mind, so you'll often find that the score lines don't perfectly tally up with lines already on the board. You do have to move it side to side a little to find one. It doesn't matter which one you use as long as it's nice and straight at a right angle. Now coming away from the right angles, we've then got the diagonals. So you can do these either with your scoreboard, and if I do it on my scoreboard I tend to come to the last line. I just find that slightly easier to line up, so I can put the end of the line onto a groove. I think that's kind of straight, and then what I do is I very carefully, slowly work my way up the line, ensuring that I'm staying within that printed line and that my paper is in the right angle. And then I just do the same on the other four sides. You'll soon see if your cardstock or paper is not quite in line with that groove, and you can just adjust it. So just do a little bit and think, yeah, that's in the right place, and go all the way into that corner. What I tend to do as well is turn my bone folder over where the sharper corner is and put that right into the point into the corner, and that just gives me a nice sharp crease when I come to folding. So just secure that. So if we turn this over, you can see we've got those lines. The first lines I did, I've kind of flattened out a little bit, but they're still there. That's because we've turned it over and then worked on other lines. But you can see it's all still there. So now we can remove our paper. I'll just pop that there so we can still refer to it. And for the folding, the first bit that I fold is the two edges. So these two pieces on the short sides, these are just folding over your top edge. I'll add a bit of glue to this, and this just neatens up the finish, but I do this now rather than at the end. So a little bit of glue. I'm actually using the Creative Glue. This is a new formula. You can see I've nearly used it all up already, so I do need to stock up again. But it's got a precision tip, and then it's also got a wider tip that has a spreader on there. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's about £2.99 on Craft Stash, only available on Craft Stash. So it's well worth grabbing some of these next time you're making an order over there. Stock up on your essentials. I actually prefer, or I like to use this just as much as my Scissors Express glue, my Cosmic Shimmer glue. I find it a fantastic formula, equal to those ones that I've used in the past. Yeah, really love it. So if you've ever had the Craft Stash glue, this is a new formula on that, with new and improved. So next, let's create the main base for your box. So you're going to bring the two sides up there. So each of these are going to be valley folds. Then the same on the two long edges as well. Don't forget these corners here where you've just doubled over the cardstock. You may need to fold those down a little bit more of a crease on those. There's one, and there's two. Okay, so now you can see you've kind of got your box coming together. The only issue is these corners. How do they go? So what we want to do first of all is bring each of these squares up at a right angle, and then just press in. And just see if you can see that. There we go. You're folding it in like so, and that's nice and neat. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. So the other side, so we've got the straight line up here, and we've got the diagonal here, and you're going to mountain fold the diagonal, valley fold the straight line, and that will just bring your box into a lovely little neat finish on the corner there. And you can glue that all together. So I'm going to apply glue to this triangle. Again, take the lid off here and use the precision nib on this. Press that in, and then again on this triangle, but also on the rest of this panel, as this will be the top panel. You can decide by your pattern paper which you'd prefer to be the top panel and which the bottom, but I would suggest that you have the I suppose the open edge to the back of the bag eventually. Not that it makes a lot of difference. If you've got a lovely pattern like this, you're really not going to see that. So there we go. That's gripped that beautifully, and that is just such a lovely neat corner for a bag, and you've got the roll top. So I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Don't forget your square comes in first. So pinch it almost as if you're wrapping paper. So your square comes in first, and then the side pieces will fold over the top like so. The beauty of the size of this bag as well is that you can pop your fingers in quite easily, so I just put my fingers on the inside there to press against when I'm gluing. So again, so just check, so I used, this one is going to be the top layer, and then that raw edge as such will be at the back of the bag. Just little bits like that will just make it a little bit neater. And then here and here as well. Fold that over, pinch it all together. If you don't want to pinch it all together, you don't have the time to sit and hold it for a few minutes, just pop a peg or a paper clip on there. That will do the job. There we go. So isn't that just absolutely beautiful? Now I would probably pop some paper in there, some tissue paper. I just love that finish. It's just so neat, isn't it? Even on the inside, you've got your corner pieces, but you can glue those in as well if you want to. You can use your template too if you wanted to, just these sections, cut them out to create templates for coloured insides as well. So now it's entirely up to you how you wrap this. I think what I'm going to do is take a coordinating colour from here. I'm going to create a strap that goes all the way around and either magnet or hook and loop on the front here. So I've cut myself a simple strip of red cardstock here, started it at the front of the bag, it's gone underneath, up the back, over the top, and it comes down to around about halfway down the centre there. I'm just going to cut that so it's actually straight because it looks a little bit wonky. You could use some fancy punches, dies, things like that if you wanted to shape this a little better. I'm going to put on the underneath, so I've got two magnets. I've got a small one to go underneath the strap and I've got a bigger one to go on the inside to hold it fast. So I'm going to start with the small one and I'm going to just use a little blob of hot glue, whoops, and put that on the strap there. If you ever drop hot glue, as I just did, don't attempt to take it off until it's dry. So I'm just going to leave that little smudge there. There's a tip for you. Accidents happen, so we make the most of them. But I've just placed the magnet on the strap there. Just give that a second to cool. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is place this inside the bag. This is a much bigger magnet. It's going to go just inside where I need the magnet to catch. So I'm going to place it and I'm going to very quickly fold that strap over and make sure that that does catch onto that magnet. Yes, it does. So while the glue's wet, I can manoeuvre that if I need to, but that seems all good. And lastly, just to finish that off, over the top, I'm going to put a little wooden button. You can do any decoration you like. It might be a poinsettia or something like that. There we go. And when that glue is all dry, you can of course ensure it works and that clips shut. And that just helps to finish off the bag, making it look a little more presentable, so you can pop your gifts inside. It may just be a gift card that you're giving somebody and you just want a nicer way of presenting it. So this template is from Simply Cards and Papercraft. It was from issue 234. You'll find the template completely downloadable, all from Craft World, and we would love to see over in the inspiration gallery what you make with your template.